Hey guys, and welcome back to another StarCraft 2 broadcast, and my name is HD. I'll be your shoutcasting host for this matchup, and today we have a very special event lined up for you guys. It is going to be WhiteRa versus TLO, none other than the two icons of StarCraft 2, the two gods, if you will, of StarCraft 2, WhiteRa and TLO, both hailing from Europe. WhiteRa, of course, from Ukraine, TLO from Germany, and both of them have agreed to have a rematch of rematches here on Battle.net 2.0, here in Phase 2 of Beta. It is going to be a live broadcast brought to you right now at 8 in the morning. And so I did break my deep REM cycle of sleep to broadcast these games live, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. It is going to be an epic rematch, because both these players have collided so often in so many high-profile tournaments, including the TL Invitational, including the HDH Invitational, and in so many show matches that both these players are living legends. They're like the boxer versus the yellow NC Yellow. So I mean, this is like the new modern, new school day of StarCraft 2 rivalries, where both of these players have collided so often, and of course both of them are good friends, and they have agreed to have a gentleman's show match. So it is going to be a best of 7 show match. The first map is going to be Lost Temple, and we have WhiteRa spawning here as the red Protoss down in the bottom 6 o'clock location, and at the top location we have Liquid TLO, also known as the Little One, spawning as the Teal Terran up at the 12 o'clock. So I should go right off the bat and say that there is no money on the line for this best of 7 series, but rather there is going to be bragging rights, honor, pride, all that stuff, you name it. The king of the hill will be determined in Phase 2 of the StarCraft 2 beta here at 8 in the morning. Man, I'm so tired, but I'm so excited at the same time to bring this series of games for you guys. So right off the bat, we do have WhiteRa moving out with his probe after he's getting his pylon down. Of course, TLO getting his supply depot as well. And one thing I should mention is because they have spawned on the cross positions on Lost Temple, one at the 6, one at the 12, and the fact that it's a 4-player map, we're probably not going to be seeing any kind of early aggression. Most likely going to see both players opt to secure their fast expansion as quickly as possible, because it's so easily defendable on Lost Temple when you compare it to other maps in the current StarCraft 2 beta phase. So there goes the first barracks down for TLO, and I do recall WhiteRa has been using that chrono boost. There it goes, chrono boosting his probes out. Doesn't even have a gateway yet, so he's going to be getting a 14 gate right there relatively late, but he does get a slight economic lead going into the game with a later gateway, and he's going to find that he's going to be safe, moving his probe right up into the Terran main right here, and of course going to be annoying as all Protoss players are, and start attacking that SCV as it was building the barracks, forcing TLO to bring another SCV off the line, which is going to slow down and hurt his income just a little bit. WhiteRa here getting some decent scouting information as well, of course, early on in the game. But TLO is not going to be doing anything cheesy or anything fancy like that. So far playing very standard. In fact, I wouldn't even be surprised to see him throw down a relatively fast expansion right off the bat. He is moving his SCV over to the 9 o'clock, gonna find that the Protoss has not spawned there, and WhiteRa, of course, hiding his pylons up at the edges of his base. And one thing WhiteRa is famous for Protoss versus Terran is, and there's the command center going down for TLOs, so he is going to be grabbing a fast expansion. One thing that WhiteRa is really good about is Void Rays versus Terran. In fact, that's like his staple Protoss versus Terran play. He hides a Stargate somewhere in his base or even somewhere outside of his base, and then he comes into your base with a bunch of Void Rays, or 1 or 2, and he starts just blowing everything up. And you guys saw him use that against Straylock. You guys seen him use it against various Terran players. He's very good with Void Rays. So of course TLO probably realizes that. He probably knows that there's potential possibility that WhiteRa is going to be going for Void Rays. There's a fast expansion for WhiteRa as well. So both players securing that fast expansion on Lost Temple extremely early on, as I called earlier. And if TLO knows that WhiteRa is going to be getting these Void Rays, he should be pretty safe. He is throwing down a couple more barracks as well, very standard, to get that fast expansion after your first barracks, and then throw down 2 or 3 more barracks to make sure you can secure and hold on to your natural expansion. And there goes TLO, gonna start moving out that command center, and of course throwing down a bunker at the front door as well. TLO is securing that natural. Meanwhile, WhiteRa is getting his probes chrono boosted out. He does have Warp Gate being researched on the way in the Cybernetics core, and of course throwing down a couple more gateways as well as he's moving this Stalker out across the map. Early Stalker, gonna see if he can pick off any scouting SCVs, or of course he can just hold the Xel'Naga watchtowers. But look at this, WhiteRa gonna be getting a Twilight Council, so he's not gonna be getting a Stargate, which I really thought he was going to hide a Stargate up at the top. Instead, he's getting a Twilight Council, so there's a couple of things he can go with this. He can either go straight for Dark Templar, throw down the Dark Shrine, or he could quickly research Blink for his Stalkers, and then start going 3-gate Stalker, which would be extremely powerful against Terran. And in fact, that's what TLO loves to do. He loves to go 3-gate Blink Stalker, and so this is kind of like taste your own medicine, TLO. And I can't wait to see what WhiteRa is going to do. Is he going to get DTs, or is he going to get Blink for Stalkers? Now, based on the production tab, it looks like he is getting Blink for his Stalkers, so he is researching that with Chrono Boost on the way. 1 Stalker at the Xel'Naga Watchtower. TLO, of course, getting Tech Labs for his barracks. He does have a Ghost Academy down as well, and so he will be probably getting some Ghosts out so he can get that EMP Shockwave off on the Protoss army. But the main thing right now is he needs to be careful. He has no idea that there are blinking Stalkers about to come on the way. There's the 3rd gateway. The scan gets down in the center but misses the Twilight Council, so he does not see the Twilight Council right now. All he knows is there could be Void Rays on the way. Most likely not, because he saw 3 gateways, so he's probably assuming that WhiteRa is just kind of bulking up, but he's not expecting this Blink Stalker strategy to come and slap him in the face. And oh man, TLO could be in a lot of trouble. He still has no idea this is coming. WhiteRa obviously destroying those rocks at the gold, trying to secure more resources wherever possible. Both these players really bulking up, have not been aggressive at the very minimal at all really. They've been content to build up their army, and so we're likely going to be seeing a big clash in the next couple of minutes, and it's probably going to be blinking Stalkers, blinking up in your cliffs, and up in your buildings, who knows where. But here we go, TLO looks like he does have a Ghost out. He does have a pretty significant army, and he has some Marauders on the way as well with Stimpak and shields, but no concussive shells yet. The bunker being salvaged right there, so he does recuperate the full cost. And there is a Templar Archives going down for WhiteRa, so WhiteRa most likely getting that Templar Archives for Psystorm, and he's going to be able to deal with the infantry very easily. Also getting a robotics facility and adding on 2 more gateways as well, so he's going to have a nice composed army. Probably will use that robotics facility for some immortals should the Terran players switch into tanks, but he might even just use the robotics facility for a fast observer. And here we go, it looks like TLO gonna be pushing out with his first initial army. WhiteRa blinking up to that cliff as he saw that army approaching, and that Stalker could be in a lot of trouble. It blinks out of the way. Wow, Blink is just so mobile, so helpful for a Protoss Stalker. Oh my goodness, and here comes TLO. He's going to be walking right into these Stalkers. Are there enough Stalkers to deal with this though? I don't think so, and Stim being used right there. Drugs for the Marines, and the Marines not going to engage those Stalkers, but they are going to go straight for this natural expansion right into WhiteRa territory. WhiteRa does have some Stalkers in the back. He might even try to pincer in this Terran army right here, as TLO going to go straight for the Nexus. Can he take it down? The shields of the Nexus are at half. The probes getting into the fray as well, and the Stalkers finally retreating back to deal with this Terran army, but it doesn't look like TLO is going to be able to do any damage at all. And of course, the trump card being revealed right there, the blinking Stalkers have been shown, and TLO is now completely aware of what WhiteRa is capable of, and it would not surprise me to see him straight up transition into full Marauders and throw down a couple of factories as well. And there we have a couple of factories going down, most likely going to be getting those fast siege tanks to deal with those Stalkers. He needs siege tanks ASAP, and of course the more Marauders the better. There we have Psystorm being researched at the Templar Archives, and so we are about to see some psionic action from the Protoss player WhiteRa. TLO still mining off of only 2 bases. WhiteRa about to secure and saturate that 3rd base, and TLO here is in a bad spot. He needs to quickly re-macro his army. He's given full map control to WhiteRa right now after that failed and botched attack attempt, and right now WhiteRa has full map control. He's just perched right outside of the Terran natural, and there is really nothing that that TLO can do. He can kind of move out. He has some mobility, but he just can't do all that much right now. Looks like the Observer